They always come in the end. Buenote has signed for Leeds United. They always come back with their tails between their legs, and Buenote is now a Leeds United player. This should have happened at the start of the season, and he would have probably fit well with us being able to play wingers and us actually playing with wingers. He probably would have fit better than what he is now, but I still think it's a good signing and a player who can be, even if he's not starting in games, because in my opinion, and I know people aren't going to like this, he's not just going to come in and be a starter like that, like I've seen a lot of people on Twitter say. I go on Twitter and I see people say, oh, he's just going to be a starter like that. No, because we're going to go through it. We're going to go through what he had to say, and we're going to go through everything that's on the Leeds United page and go through everything that was said. And we're also going to look at some other things, positions he can play, a formation that maybe we could play. You know, you look at the kind of players who are starting 11 players right now, and you look at them, and I'm starting to think, like, I know this is wild to say, and it's only a loan. And my worry with this is it's going to be another Ben White situation since it's with Brighton, and I do not trust players we loan from Brighton. The Ben White thing kind of gives me, like, trauma of us not being able to get the player after the loan. But, evening, Danny, how you doing? But I think it's a good signing, and I'm hoping that if he does well, we can get him next season as well. That'll be a massive dub, but I just have that bad feeling that it's going to be like what happened with Ben White, and we're not going to be able to get him, and then, you know, they're going to bump up the price, and then a big club's going to take him, you know, like Arsenal did with Ben White. But there's a few things we can go over, and we're going to go through what Leeds United had to say on a couple of things, and we'll just go through. I haven't actually seen it, so I'm actually just going to go through it. It's mad how quick this actually happened as well, guys. It's mad how quick this actually happened. Like, I was like, we heard the news this morning, legit just this morning, like it just came out. I'm like, okay, it'll probably happen tomorrow. So I made my preview. I did my preview. I uploaded and I was like, okay, I'll be fine. And then the Buenote thing will be done tomorrow and I can just do a video tomorrow for it. And then all of a sudden, a couple of hours later, it's done. They move in silence. The 49ers move in silence. And yeah, we're going to go through with a couple of things as we go to this screen. So Buenote has joined Leeds United on loan, of course, until the end of the season. We'll go through what was said, and then we'll go through a couple of other things about, we're basically going to go through a couple of other things like where he can play, what formations we can play with him, and we'll go through some other things. Leeds United are delighted to announce the arrival of Buenote on a loan deal until the end of the 25-26 Premier League campaign. It's a straight loan, so no add-ons. Yeah, it's a straight loan. He also doesn't go into the 25-man squad, I believe, because of his age. I don't think he goes into the 25-man squad because of his age, I think. Well, that's what I've seen, but I don't know if I can trust some people. The Whites have secured the service of the Argentina international for the remainder of the season, joining them fellow top flight side Brighton and Hove Albion, beginning his career in the home of the nations with Rosario Central, where he made 32 appearances. The Seagulls moved swiftly to bring Buenote to England shortly after he turned 18 years old. He then featured regularly at the Amex Stadium for 50 times across all competitions before heading out on loan for further experience. Last season, he made a temporary switch to Leicester City and was a standout player in a struggling Foxes side, playing 35 times across all competitions, scoring 6 times and assisting on 3 occasions. The forward, who now has over 125 first-team appearances under his belt, has been on loan at Chelsea during the first half of the season, featuring 8 times for the West London outfit. Buenote has arrived at Ellen Road with experience of playing in the Premier League, UEFA Champions League, Europa League, and at international level, as well after earning 2 caps for Argentina against Indonesia and Salvador. His versatility across the forward line has seen the left-footed 21-year-old play in central areas, so he can play in the 8, the 10, etc. Behind the striker, so he might be able to play the front 2 role as well if he was in the starting 11. Or the right or left wing, dropping deeper as needed, and also taking set pieces. And with this saying, like, dropping deeper, I don't know, like, I'm not going to say, like, I've watched Buenote. Maybe he could play wing back in certain games, maybe. You know, like, I've spoken about this, like, even if he's not starting in Premier League games, because we'll get into that, but I do think he's not going to start for the first month or two. Until I don't think he'll be in the starting 11 until maybe March, or, like, near the middle of February, start of March, just because how he's not really up to speed. He's played 1 game for Chelsea, basically. He started 1 game for Chelsea. Not really had much minutes, so I don't think he's going to be starting for a little bit. And with how the team's performing and certain players are performing, it's going to be very difficult for him to get in the team, because you're looking at the positions where he could play, and you look at the 8 position, you're like, he's not getting ahead of Stack. He's not getting ahead of Aronson. and people aren't going to like this, but in that case, he's going to be ahead of, he probably will be ahead of Tanaka. I'm not going to lie, like, he probably is ahead of Tanaka, right, in that position, which puts Tanaka even further down the pecking order. In the front two, he's behind Mecha, behind Aronson, behind Okafor. But yeah, I think we'll use him in certain games as well. I think there'll be like a good like rotation, so players don't have to play 90 minutes every week. Of course, there's some players in this team that legit at the moment cannot be dropped, and that's DCL, who cannot be dropped at the moment. Like, people talk about DCL will never be dropped, but if his performances fell off a cliff, there's a possibility where you could switch it out. But DCL is one of them at the moment. You can't drop him. Aronson at the moment, you definitely can't drop him. Stuck at the moment, for me, you can't drop him. I think Stuck kind of goes under the radar because he hasn't got a lot of G&A, but he has a lot of shots. You know, he has a lot of shots and he's a very dangerous attacking player. I don't think you can drop either of those three at the moment, and they're the kind of the positions he can play. And you're kind of looking at that as like, even like in the front two situation, Aronson just scored 2 goals playing in that position against Newcastle. So you can't really say like, oh, he's going to be ahead of him in the front two at the moment. So it's going to be weird, like, to see how we use him. But also the good thing is cup matches, which I tweeted out about. It's good depth, and also for this FA Cup run that I actually believe we're going on. I think we're going on an FA Cup run, and I think Buenote in this FA Cup run is another player who can come into games. And with this extra signing in the midfield, again, it's another reason why I was right when I said I don't think Nonto is going to start any games for the rest of the season, and I don't think he gets near the starting 11. Genuinely, because we don't play with wingers, firstly, and now if we did play with wingers, Buenote is another player who's in front of Nonto. Like, genuinely, and people, just because you know what, Nonto's fine as a cup player, and that's fine with how he's performing. Like, he can be our cup winger, that's fine. Buenote can play maybe in the 10 in the cups, depending on what we do in the cup as well. But yeah, we'll talk about that when we get closer to the game, of course, against Birmingham. Everyone at Leeds United would like to welcome him, blah, 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 blah. And then, so we got the fact files. We'll go through this as well. Leeds United bolstered their attacking options with a lone rival of Argentina international Buenote. Having spent the first half of the campaign with Chelsea, the creative spark links up with Daniel Farke's squad from Brighton and Hove Albion until the end of the season. Below are 8 facts and figures about our latest recruit. Buenote began his career in his homeland, Rosario Central. The city has been a hotbed of talent, notably producing the legendary Lionel Messi and former White Boss Marcelo Bielsa, alongside Angel Di Maria, who started with Rosario Central as well, and has since returned to the club. I don't really care about that. The forward made his professional debut at age 17 for his boyhood team in the Argentina League Cup. Our first goal would follow in the league duties against... Yeah, I'm not going to try and say that. The effort proving the difference in a 1-0 victory. I don't really care about that, to be honest. General interest from Europe. It was Brighton that came calling to the fledgling attacking's signature in 2023. Our first outing in the Premier League came in an all-South Coast affair with Bournemouth, and a first goal arrival at the City Ground against Nottingham Forest. The 21-year-old made 50 appearances in all competitions for the Seagulls and spent last campaign on loan at Leicester City. A bright spark in a tough year for the Foxes. He netted 6 times, as we talked about. We already seen that, and registered 3 assists. The King Power here, previous team, he shared the pitch 30 times with James Justin as well. Of course, he played with James Justin, with the duo combining for 3 goals against Arsenal and Bournemouth in the Premier League and QPR in the FA Cup. Spending the first half of the current season with Chelsea. He top-level experience, blah, blah, blah. 3 time in the UEFA Champions League. You have an attacking midfielder, started in victories over powerhouses Benfica and Ajax, as well as facing Karabag. Our new rival has made 2 appearances for his country national team. Made his debut in the World Cup champions in 2023 in a 2-0 friendly victory over Indonesia before competing, blah, 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 anything. And that's basically it. There's nothing really... really, I didn't really need to read any of that. None of that I gave really a shit about, to be honest. What's this about? From to Leeds, Buenote's journey so far. Anything interesting on this? I thought there might have been a thing about him, what he had to say. I thought there might have been like an interview about what he had to actually say. Is there anything new or is this everything? I thought there might have been like an interview. But I can't see that. Anyway, we'll get into, so Buenote, we'll look at this, and this is the reason why I do feel like he's someone who won't be in the starting 11 straight away. I mean, just seeing this is why I don't think he'll be in the starting 11 straight away. 1 appearance, 1 start, 45 minutes played in the Premier League. Let's just look at in the Champions League, how many minutes did he play? 54 minutes, 3 appearances, 2 starts, 54 minutes. He's not played many minutes. Which is, a reason why I don't think he'll be starting games for a while, because he's going to have to get into into actually playing football. So I don't think he's actually going to be playing, starting games. I mean, I don't think he should be starting straight away anyway, just because of how good our team actually is. We'll get into a couple of other things. We'll get into formations. I actually want to show you guys this. So I took a picture because someone put this on Twitter, and I screenshotted it because I actually liked the formation and I liked the look of it, and I was like, oh, this actually looks nice. So I actually want to show you, where is it? Because I think this formation would actually be a nice formation to play. So we'll go with this. I think I can. I have to show you guys. Let me just get it up. Here we go. So this is the lineup. I think you guys can see it. Can you guys see it? I have no idea if you guys can see it right now because it won't let me show like the thing. So I think you guys can see it. Let me just make sure on the screen. Sorry. Congratulations on over 1,000 subscribers. Consider adding options to buy super chats. I can't do like super chats yet. Like I don't have enough. You have to get like a certain number of I don't know how do you put it. You have to have a certain number of watch time and watch hours and stuff before you can actually do that kind of stuff. So I can't actually do that yet. So yeah, thanks for the congratulations on the 1,000. I can't even. Why can't I show yous? Oh, this is so annoying. Let me try and figure out if there's a. How do I do? Let's do it this way. There's a way. There's surely a way. There's surely a way. Like. Well, I put. Is that? Nope, that doesn't tell me. That doesn't help me with anything. I was gonna show you this. It won't let me show it. Why is this so? I saved it because I wanted to show yous. Actually, I can get the picture and put it on Canva, and then I can show you that way. That'll be the easiest way to do it. So just give me a minute. We'll do it that way. That seems like the easiest way. Of me just doing it this way. Okay, we'll do it this way. I was gonna do it an easy way of just showing you the picture, but it won't let me. We'll go there. We'll go there. We'll just get. We can get rid of this now because we already got the thumbnail and we already done everything, so we can get rid of that. And then we can go you, and then we can go there. So it doesn't really matter. I don't need to like make it a massive. Let's do it this way. Let's go. That's so. Actually, no. This is the. Oh shit! This is the one. Actually, I think that's only that, right? Okay. You guys can't see anything. Fucking hell, this thing. I'm having a nightmare here. I'm having an absolute nightmare here. Let's just do it that way. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. And now we can go to here, right? There you guys can see it. Get rid of that for a second. Okay, you guys should be able to get rid of that now. You guys could... No, you... Yeah, you can. Okay, we're good. We're good. Woo! You can see this is actually a starting 11 I saw on Twitter, which actually I would like us to use because I think this would be a nice starting 11. So, you got Rodon, Biel, Struck. You got Ampadu and Stack in the midfield, and then you got Bogle and Goodmanson as your wing backs, and then you got Buenote and Aronson behind DCL, and then you have Metra as the other option in that front too. As you can see, you have James and Nonto for Buenote, Okafor and Nonto for Aronson. I think this formation would work if you wanted to start Buenote. I think this is the best way. At the moment, this is the only way you get Buenote into the starting 11 for me, because I'm looking at the team right now, and you cannot drop Aronson, so this is the only way to get him into the team. And I'm honestly fine at the moment if you wanted to do this and drop Okafor, because I don't think Okafor's been amazing. I like Okafor, and I think he can, even if he's not starting, like, having these options off the bench, I think is brilliant. Dan James is back in 2 weeks' time, back in team. He's basically back in team training soon. You got Nonto off the bench who has impacted games like the Liverpool game. He impacted very well. The Brentford game, he got the assist for DCL and he offered something well off the bench. He's only coming because he didn't have a choice. Brighton, for some reason, wanted to sort it quickly, but they should have shopped around plenty of better choices for the club. I actually like, I think I like Buenote. I think he would have worked so much better at the start of the season because we played with wingers. We're going to be cooking. Yeah, so this is the team that I saw. I actually really like this team. And, like, you look at the backup options and you look at the FA Cup. This is the massive thing. I really want a cup run. Even if Buenote's not in the starting 11, he would be in the starting 11 for the cup matches, for the FA Cup games. You got, this team for me is a really good team. You can put in like a Longstaff for Stack. That's a good option. Like Longstaff being behind Stack or in front of him. Like the competition we have is actually pretty good. Like I know what some people think of Gruev. I think Gruev's a great second choice option behind Ampadu. We do probably need another centre back. If you look at the centre backs, this is why I think we need centre back cover because you got your Buenote and stuff. But we do need that. We need another centre back, probably cover for Strauch more than BL, I'd say. But it would be nice to have another backup just in case because I'm looking at this team and that's the major part of the team that needs help is that backup at centre back. Just one centre back to basically have another backup. As we heard when I said it in my preview, Bornell's injury isn't as bad as what we first thought, which is good. But we still need that other defender just in case we have an injury crisis at centre back. You have multiple options. So yeah, I'd really like this team, and I think this team would be a good starting team, even if, and then there's other formations we can go to. You can, the way we have been playing in the 3-5-2, you can have an Aarons and DCL front two, or in my opinion, the best front two that we can offer is, for me, still Mecha and DCL. I think they offer something well together, because they're both dangerous in the air, where it's not just DCL in the air. You have to actually watch Mecha as well, who's not amazing in the air, but still decent in the air. And but yeah, this is probably the best formation we can go with if you want Buenote currently in the team because you just can't drop Aronson. You can't drop Stack for me as well. He's another player you can't drop, and Ampadu of course you can't drop. But yeah, for me this is the best. As I said, that's why I think I wanted to cover at centre back more than anything. I mean, people don't like Perry, sorry, but I still think Perry, for me, it's his first year in the Premier League, so I'm going to give him time. I'm someone who tries to give players time, especially when it's their first year in England and their first year in the Premier League. So I'm hoping that he can actually just find some form. But yeah, that's probably the best team we can, even if we go to, say, a 4-3-3 or a 3-4-3, Buenote as well can play on the wing, of course. So we can go to that formation and play him on the wing. Of course, he's the same wing as Aronson, which could be a bit of a but Aronson for me could play either wing. With how well he's playing right now, I'd play him either wing if we played a 3-4-3. I'll be fine with Aronson on the left, just the way he's playing currently right now. You could put him anywhere and it feels like he'll come up with a great performance. But Buenote is just one of those where I could see the Buenote thing going one of two ways. If we bought who are we dropping? Or is he a bench option? But personally, I think he has to start. Let me just see. That's the guy that Wolfsburg wanted, right? But they're actually going for Creswell now, I think, right? I saw Wolfsburg they were interested in Doki or whatever how you say it, but then they're going for Creswell. I mean, they got battered 8-1, was it? 8-1 by Bayern. They got absolutely battered. Let's see how... the thing is, it's hard. It's hard because the Bundesliga is a league where defensively, you can't really tell if players are good in the Bundesliga for me. Like, I like the Bundesliga and I actually watch some of the Bundesliga. Whenever I'm like, Leeds aren't playing, of course, and I'm awake, I'll watch Hamburg. Because they were like the team that I decided to support. Like they were the team that I chose in FIFA basically as a career mode, and I always seem to like them. I just got like a connection with them. I don't know why. I was just like, oh, I like them, and I watch some of their games and stuff. But I don't watch a lot of Bundesliga. But you can't really tell. Yeah, it is. You can't really tell in the Bundesliga if a player's great or not. Like I think the league is good. Besides Bayern, if Bayern weren't in the league, I think it would be a very, very competitive league. It'd be a very good competitive league if Bayern didn't exist in the league, but so yeah, he'll probably come in. What is he? 27 years old. He'll probably want to come in as a starter, but he'll have to. For me, I don't think anyone that comes into the team goes straight into the starting 11. I think everyone has to fight for their place, which would have to come from cup matches or waiting for an injury. I mean, Strauch normally gets a yearly injury, so you could argue. I mean, we do need a backup. In my opinion, yeah, a backup for Strauch would be nice. A backup for Strauch would be nice. For Biol, I just don't think you can get a backup for Biol that will be good, that would want to come in as a backup, just because I think Biol is at that level where I feel like anyone else that comes in will be a massive drop-off. But yeah, I would like a centre-back cover for Strauch because he normally gets that yearly injury. He's pretty injury-prone, to be honest, Strauch. I would like a centre-back. But yeah, we might see someone coming in because at the moment, what you look at the team of like how many we could bring in, I genuinely think one more. Of course, Harrison's gone, and I feel like Harrison leaving kind of fills that gap in. Like, I don't think, yeah, Buenote doesn't add to the squad, but I feel like that's the kind of replacement, which is a good upgrade. I don't hate Harrison, to be honest, like a lot of people do. I don't think he was a rat. I just think he did what any normal person would, any football player would do. You're not a fan of the club. I don't want to go to the championship and take a pay cut. I want to keep the pay that I'm getting, and I'm going to stay in the Premier League. And I think he deserved to stay in the Premier League. It's just that Everton kind of, his career kind of went at Everton. He didn't really, yeah. I don't hate Harrison, but he needs to go for his own. I think it's good for both parties. Harrison leaving is good for him to get his career back on track or end his career at least on a higher note than what it is now. And for the club, I think it's the best that we let him go. I mean, he was so bad in the cup match. He was bad, but he was more frustrating than bad. He just cross English so bad. But it feels like one of those things about once he came back. I mean, he tried his best to be back with the fans and tried his best when he first came back. Which, you know, I'll never... one thing I'll say about him, he never refused to put on the kit. He never refused to play for the club. You know, when he first came back, you know, that Everton game, he tried to put himself back to the Leeds fans. He just didn't really get a chance on the pitch. Really, besides the Burnley game where he was awful, he just wasn't good enough. But I wish him the best to end his career. Don't really bother me, to be honest. I wish him the best. But, you know, we got him going. Oh, yeah, Harry Gray's gone on loan to Rotherham. So we'll be keeping up with him, seeing how he's going. I hope he does well. You know, he's playing for now, a team in the relegation zone or near the relegation zone. So, I saw a tweet about fucking McKennie's been wanted by 2 Premier run it back. But no, yeah, I think a centre-back is probably it for me this window. If we get one more, it'll be a centre-back. I'm trying to look at this team and see if there's any other positions. I mean, you could argue another striker, but I like Metcha. I really like Metcha, and I feel like he was really good, and then he got injured, and then people kind of forget how good he was before the injury. I think people forget how good he actually was playing before he got that injury, and then DCL went on this mad run, so people kind of forgot how good Metcha actually was playing. And I think it is one of the things about every season, you're going to have to improve your squad, which means some players are not going to be there. I have a feel, like I've had this feeling the last couple of days that maybe we move Tanaka on soon. But I have this feeling, and that's nothing, like, I love Tanaka. I think he's done so well for Leeds United. But it's one of those things about Tanaka, I feel like he's starting to drop down like the pecking order. You know, at the moment, he's behind Stack, behind Aronson, behind Gruev for away games, because I think away from home, Fark likes that defensive stability, and Gruev gives that. So I think he's behind those 3. He's behind Longstaff as well. That's another player he's behind. He'll be behind Longstaff. So I look at that, and I look at that, the midfielders, and I just feel like maybe we didn't pay much for him. If a club came in for 30 plus 30, 40, 50 million, I think the club accept. And it's one of those things about, you're going to have to move on as a club with some players. And this sometimes happens, you know, there's some quality players where for some reason they just drop down the pecking order. And if a club come in for 30 plus million, I could see us accepting. Like, I love Tanaka, and I would love him to get another chance. And, you know, I think he will get another chance at some point this season. But at the moment, you're not getting ahead of anyone in the midfield. Maybe the only hope he really has is probably if there's an injury. Because I don't know. Because I think the mad thing is, I genuinely, like, Longstaff for me is better. And that's just because Longstaff's a Premier League proven player. You know, I trust I trust him. And it's mad that we've got this good, but like, that's what I like about our midfield, how strong it is. Like, it's mad that we're in 20, like, after we got promoted, who would have thought in 2026, Tanaka would be a player that everyone would be like, wow, he's not getting into the starting 11, and Brendan Aronson would be a player, we'll be all like, he has to start. Like, it's mad. But yeah, anyway, Buenote, great signing. Very happy with the signing. We just have to hope that he does well. I don't know if he has, like, any type of injury history. Like, I don't think his injury history is that bad, is it? I don't think he gets injured that much. I'm not really checked, to be honest. I don't think he gets injured that much. Or he's not been injured that much. Yeah, but it's until the end of the season. But it's one of those things, but I don't see him playing as many minutes as fans would probably want him to play, in a way, if you know what I mean. I feel like people will be like, oh, I want him to start. I want him to start. But, like, this season, he's played 517 minutes. Oh, my God. The last season, he played 1,716. The season before, he played 1,884. The season before that, he played 639. And the season before that, he was back in Argentina when he played 2,055 minutes. So he played a lot of minutes in the past, like, two of the last 3 seasons, he played 1,700 minutes and 1,800 minutes. So I'm looking at that like he's played a lot of minutes then, but it's just this season he's going to get after, you know, he's not going to be up to scratch to probably start games straight away. And then when he is fit, when he is in that position of like starting games, will he be able to get ahead of the midfield that we have, which, you know, is a good, as I said, it's a good thing to have competition. And, you know, he'll probably start the cup games, which is why I want us to go on a cup run, because then we can actually use him more and it'll be more of a, he'll be more of a use, you know, he won't be like one of those loans that you get and it's like, we didn't really play him that much. It was a waste of, you know, it was a waste of a loan, basically. But, hey, I mean, for me, it's Buenote's fault in the first place if he doesn't get many minutes at Leeds United, because he could have come here in the first place. And as I said, he probably would have started it on that right wing ahead of Aronson, 100%. He would have been starting ahead of Aronson on the wing when we did play with the wingers, you know. So I'm looking at that and it's mad, like, it's generally annoying because if he did come, maybe you know, maybe we have more points, maybe we look better in the I don't think Aronson was bad on the wing, but Buenote would be an upgrade on the wing. Of course, Buenote, as I said, can play multiple positions, the 8, the 10. I mean, the 8 would be more of a 10, if you know what I mean. Like, he would be more of a, he'll move into the more of a 10 position. So people say it's the Aronson role, but I don't think Buenote offers the pressing that Aronson offers. So I don't think it's the same in a way. I don't think you can just be like, it's not a like for like. Like, when you look at it, oh, number 10 for number 10, that's a like for like. But for me, it's not a like for like just because Brendan Aronson's pressing game, like his pressing game is that good that I don't think it's a like for like. But I think Buenote will get a lot of minutes. Will get minutes at Leeds. I don't know how many minutes. I'm hoping that he gets enough for us to be like. I hope he gets enough minutes for us to be like, yeah, good loan. You know, even if we don't sign him permanently, which, as I've already said at the beginning, I don't trust us to get a permanent deal from him just because I've been scarred too much by Brighton and Hove Albion with Ben White and stuff. So yeah, but hopefully, you know, he can still play in the cup, can't he? Because he did play in the FA Cup for Chelsea. There's no, like, cup tie thing, is there, where he can't play? Because in the Carabao Cup, I mean, Semenyo played fucking Man City, so I don't think there is, unless there's different rules in the FA Cup. But surely he can play for us in the FA Cup, surely. If he can't, that's bad. I don't know the full rules of the FA Cup, but I'll check. Can a player play for more than one club in a FA Cup campaign? Okay, they can. A player can play for more than one club in an FA Cup campaign. Okay, we're good. He can play in the FA Cup. I mean, I could just looked it up. Okay, that's good. I didn't know if the rule was, I must have changed for both competitions. But yeah, so he can play in the FA Cup, which, you know, he will start FA Cup games for me, definitely. Especially the next one, because we got Birmingham. We got Birmingham, right? Did I forget? I forgot who we got. We got Birmingham, right? I blanked out. I legit did a stream going through it. But yeah, we got Birmingham in the Cup. Like, I went over the cup yesterday. I mean, I went over the cup yesterday of just, like, seeing, like, oh, yeah, who's left, like, that you wouldn't want to play. So the next round is the round of 16. If we win our round against Birmingham, which we should, it'll be the round of 16 of the FA Cup. 16 teams left. And teams that you wouldn't want to play is Arsenal. So Grimsby Wolves, take either. Burton West Ham, I'd play either. Burnley Mansfield, well, I would play either. Arsenal, no. So Arsenal's one I wouldn't want to play. Leicester, Southampton, yes. Stoke, Fulham. Fulham would be another team I wouldn't really want to play in the cup because, you know, they're a decent, like, I wouldn't want to get them out of all the teams. It's legit like Arsenal, Fulham, Chelsea. That's 3 teams. One of Villa or Newcastle because they're playing each other. So one of them, that's 4 teams you don't want to get. Liverpool or Brighton, that's 5. So there's legit, and Brentford. So there'll be 6 teams in the final. So there'll be 6 teams that you don't want to get. And, well, that's counting us. So 6 teams you don't want to get and 9 teams that we do want to get if we make it to the round of 16. Which, when I look at that, I'm like, then you win the round of 16. You never know who you can get. You can get a lucky draw where we verse championship team. Well, we might verse championship teams all the way to the final 8. And then you get into then you get into the situation where you play your first team, and the form that we've been on. If we get a home tie, and I know that's hard to believe us getting a home tie in an FA Cup game, but if we get a home tie going into the final 8, I'll back us against anyone, maybe except for Arsenal, but I'll back us against most teams, maybe even Arsenal because they might still use their backup players. I think if we made it to the final 8 teams, I think we go full strength. I think we just go for it, go full strength. Because I feel like we're 8 points clear of the relegation. This is a massive weekend, by the way. My preview's already out, so go check out my preview after this. But yeah, the fact of we're 8 points clear, this weekend could be massive. This weekend could be massive if we beat Fulham, because I don't even know why I'm getting into this, but yeah, we beat Fulham, and you know who they got. West Ham? Yeah, West Ham got Spurs. I mean, Spurs, you never know. Forest have Arsenal, so we can get that. You know, if we beat Fulham, we can get that gap back on Fulham. Forest. We can get that gap back on Forest to 4 points, you know, and be more than a win clear of Forest again, which would be massive to try and get, you know, basically get away from that relegation battle. But yeah, Buenote, back on Buenote, good signing. Hopefully he plays minutes. It's just where we're going to play him. As I said, I like that formation that I showed you guys with the 3-4-2-1. 3-4-2-1. I tried to work out, 3-4-2-1. I like that. And yeah, but people are starting to say because Ben Jacobs tweeted out about 2 Premier League teams are interested in Weston McKennie, that we're one of them. Nope, no, we're not going back there. I guarantee it's not us, and we would not take him back 100%. We would not take him back. But yeah, anyway, Buenote's a good signing. As I said, I think he'll be on the bench. He might be at the bench for the weekend. I don't know. Maybe he'll be on the bench for the weekend. I just thought of that. Maybe he'll come off the bench against Fulham. He won't start, of course, but I think he maybe comes off the bench, or maybe he's just on the bench. Because I could see it where Falk would want him to be integrated with the squad, put him on the bench, but not bring him on, because he hasn't really trained with the squad at all. So yeah, you'll have to learn how we play. So maybe he's just on the bench. If he's on the bench, I don't want to see people crying, why are you not coming on? Because I feel like that might be he hasn't really trained that much. We'll just put him on the bench and just, he's with the squad. You know, that's the thing Falk does like to do as well sometimes, is put a player on the bench. Like he put Longstaff on the bench. And that's because we had no one else, but he was never going to come on. So Falk might just do that with Buenote. He'll put him on the bench, but he's not going to be coming on the pitch, but he'll just put him on the bench to be with the squad and that. Yeah, so hopefully the loan does well. Generally, as long as we stay up, I couldn't really give a shit if the loan does well, to be honest, because, as I said, I do not trust us to get him at the end of the season with Brighton. But hey, as I said, 45 minutes in the league this season. Let's actually try and work out how many minutes has he played this season? I swear I could just look at it, and I swear I looked at it beforehand. He's played 517 minutes this season, so not really many minutes. Let's try and... Has Nonto played about that? I think if we could... I want to try and make a comparison to a Leeds player, how many minutes he's played. He's played the same... He's played around the same as Nonto, right? Probably. This season. Let me just check. He's played a bit more than Nonto, but Nonto's had that injury, and he had that injury between September and November. So he probably would have played the same amount of minutes if Nonto never got that injury, probably around that mark. But yeah, I think Buenote comes on the bench. I think he probably goes ahead of the likes of a Nonto. He's probably ahead of the likes of a Nonto, even a Tanaka. I think he's probably ahead of. So yeah, I don't. That's the thing. I don't know what happens with Tanaka. I'm kind of. I thought about that when we signed him, about what happens to Tanaka, because it just feels like he's dropping down the pecking order. But maybe Falk Falk likes the rotation, so maybe certain games will fit Tanaka, and he'll be like, yeah, you can play. Like, he'll play him in some games. There's no, like... Yeah, it's weird. There's no, like he hasn't done, like, an interview or the interview hasn't been released on the Leeds United thing about what he had to say about joining the club. But yeah, I'm happy with the signing. I hope it does well. And yeah, we're probably going to end the stream now because that's about everything we have to talk about. Buenote signs for Leeds United after, you know, he could have signed a while ago. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below if you're watching this after the live. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already on your way out. And I'll catch you guys in the next one, which will probably be the watch along. Yeah, the watch along will probably be the next one. Unless something happens tomorrow with some news and we somehow sign someone, or some signing happens again. Like, or we're just linked to someone in the morning and then we sign someone in the afternoon or something like we just did today. Which is wild that it just happened like that. But yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one, which will probably be the watch along for the Fulham game. So yeah.